Hey guys, TommyBryson here. And the crazy thing is basically that once you finally have a budget, you stop spending money and splurging back and forth, you become afraid of spending money and you only get obsessed with just saving and saving and saving. And I was talking to a friend and he was like, Tommy, but if I invest my money or if I do this, what if I lose it? Or if I have to start all the way over? I don't want that to be me, or I make a mistake and now I'm even worse off of when I actually started. And that is very scary. And by the way, the response or the answer to this video is not just invest. Everyone gets carried away with just investing, invest, as if, for example, 10 to 20 years is not a long time. Okay, 20 years of investing is a very long time. So that's not the only thing you want to do in that 10 to 20 year period. And that is what we're going to break down in this video. Tommy, what am I supposed to do? Exactly. What should my plan actually be to get to one goal? And that one goal is called the exit strategy, or what I call it basically financial freedom. Okay, what are the steps to actually get there? That's what we're going to break down in this video right here. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will stop being afraid of spending money and you will stop finally just saving money like a mad person. Okay, now if you guys are new here, I post videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so make sure to also go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified. And on top of that, also do me a favor and destroy the like button. Okay, and also comment down below and let me know exactly what is your goal by the end of this year money wise. Like, how much money do you want to have either invested or saved up? Comment down below, let me know, okay? Now, the very first thing, guys, I want to break down is this. What is the problem with not spending any money and just saving it, and also being afraid and having a lack of confidence when it comes to spending money on the right things, okay? Even if you know investing is the correct thing, you're still afraid of actually doing it because what happens if you mess up or it crashes? What do you do then, okay? But the first thing is, we know for a fact, most of us know this already, and that is called inflation. Saving money is not as good as you think it probably is, okay? Because, for example, we all know that basically, by the way, inflation is basically the dollar currency losing its buying power every single year. And in the US, it's around 2.5% to around 4% every single year. Now, what does this mean exactly in English? It means, for example, $100 today in 2021 is $100. You know exactly what you can buy with that money. However, in 20 years from now, $100 is only going to have the buying power of around $61 today. So for a fact, $100 today and $61 today is very different. So it's kind of like, well, if I save money for 20 years, you're telling me that basically I'm going to end up with 40% less buying power? The answer is yes. That is called inflation. And that's why saving money alone doesn't work, because inflation is going to erode your gains in a sense, because every single time you save money, all you're doing is losing money, because inflation erodes the amount of money you save at a higher rate. So although I save $100 every single year, I'm losing 2.5% to 4%. That makes no sense. That's why saving money doesn't work just like that. Now, on top of that, guys, you also have another issue. The issue is basically, well, Tommy, what if I just invest my money and I forget about, for example, my consumer debt? For example, the credit card debt, the car loans, the student loan debt, the personal loans, and all that stuff, okay? Because in reality, I could probably make more money investing. The answer is you're probably not, okay? Because Warren Buffett couldn't even do that. And the reason is because it's very simple, okay? I like to use common sense and also very small numbers to make things very simple to actually understand. Now, if you have $100, for example, and you say, well, I'm going to invest that and get 10%. Well, 10% of $100 is $10 in profit. You made $10 every single year. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong here. However, if you owe a credit card $100 also, and they charge you 18%, well, that means $18 per year it's costing you. 24%, that's $24 it's costing you. And 28%, that's costing you $28 every single year. So if you're investing money while trying to pay off your debt, it makes no sense, because the other one right here, the debt, is costing you so much money. And usually when it comes to having debt, you want to get rid of it first before you go into investing. But I know what you're gonna say, most likely, some of you guys in the comments down below. But Tommy, interest rates are so low right now. You probably get a loan for 4%, right? And if I make 10%, well, everything's fine. The answer is it's not that simple, because we also know that inflation is a part of it. So if you're making 10%, well, minus 3% for inflation, well, now you're left with like around 7%. Minus 1% for taxes, now you're left with around 6%. Minus, for example, the fees and everything like that, now you're left with like 5%, right? So in reality, it just makes no sense. That's usually why you want to go ahead and pay off your debts before you start investing. That's one of the main things. Or, for example, you have the entire issue of, well, Tommy, I want to save money for my emergency fund, because to me, that's very important. And I don't feel safe, right? And it's a fair argument here where, hey, I have to save money. I can't spend money on investing if I just don't have money for emergencies. The answer is, it makes sense, yes. But to a certain extent, people go too crazy. For example, my mom, she has low 5 figures actually saved up, not over like 1 year, over years and years and years of saving money, over like 10 to 15 years of saving money. And she has around $30,000 or $40,000 max. And she says, Tommy, I have this money here in case anything happens. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? It has to be like a whole war, or the world has to win. And by that point, it doesn't matter how much money you have saved up, right? Because imagine having $40,000 saved up, right? And you spend $1,000 per month. That's 20 months worth of expenses. How long are you going to go being unemployed? You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be almost impossible. So it comes from, hey, I'm scared to invest because I might have invested the wrong things, or hey, I'm inflation, but I want to just save my money. That's a problem. And also, lastly, emergencies. Like, yeah, you should be scared a little bit of not having enough money, but to that extent, it's just not the best idea. So if overall me being scared of spending money is making me broke, what am I supposed to do exactly? Well, the answer is you gotta be focused on the 4 fundamentals when it comes to financial freedom. And what exactly are those? Well, the first thing is usually that what holds you back from actually having financial freedom? Well, it's usually gonna be these 4 things right here. The first thing is usually, hey, I owe too much consumer debt. That means credit card debt, my car loan, my student loan debt, my credit card debt. All this stuff is going to be holding you back, because again, we know, hey, I'm investing making $10, but I'm paying somebody $18, $24. I'm not going anywhere. That's the idea. And I call this the running in place phase. It's like being a hamster and you're running and running and running. You're like, and then you get off, you're like, oh, I'm still in the same place. Like, I haven't gone anywhere, That's that period right there where you're investing, but you're in so much debt to the point where it makes no difference. You're just not moving whatsoever. Then you also have the second phase, where basically this phase is called the I don't feel safe, okay? I don't feel safe phase. It's basically that, hey, I might be debt free, but I don't have an emergency account. So if things go wrong, TommyBryson here, right? What do I do? I just don't have any money. If I lose my job, I'm gonna be pretty messed up. The answer is that's where we introduce an emergency account. The third phase is basically that although I have an emergency account, I have no debt, I still don't feel like I'm doing anything really, And I get so many calls about this, Tommy, I don't have any debt, I have an emergency account, but I just don't feel like I'm doing anything, I just feel like I'm just here, I'm not really doing anything. And it's called the I'm surviving, but I'm not thriving phase. And by the way, guys, just a confession here, every time I spell thriving, I spell driving. I just don't know what's going on with my vocabulary, but it's just not the best, okay? But yeah, it's like you're surviving, like, okay, I don't have any debt, I have an emergency account, but I'm just not really moving anywhere. That's that phase right there. And the fourth phase is basically that, hey, I might be done with everything, but I don't really have an exit plan. You ever heard somebody, hey, I won the lottery, but I'm still working, or I make $10 million a year, but I'm still working. I'm just like, I just don't know how to move forward. It's because basically you don't have an exit strategy. So if these are the 4 things that hold you back, how exactly are you supposed to solve those things? Well, the first thing is basically that first step, honestly, is you got to know exactly the lifestyle you want, and also how much it's going to cost you. And before you say, Tommy, I know exactly what I want. I need $250,000 per year in income, passive income, of course, and I want the fastest car out there and the fanciest house ever. That's usually going to be very unrealistic. I'm just going to be honest here. I believe in people, all this stuff, but usually it's going to be unrealistic. Now, I'll tell you personally, what my life looks like after I'm financially free. You know, for example, I'm married, I have 3 to 4 kids, I travel the world with them. I have a very nice, fast car, maybe $30,000, $50,000 on that car. I have a paid off home. I also have a housekeeper and also someone to actually come and help us cook. And you might say, Tommy, this sounds like $100,000 to $250,000 also. So you sound stupid too, Mr. Bryson. The answer is no, because my plan is to actually have all those things right there you spoke about for less than $48,000 a year. And before you say, well, something's wrong with this guy because this is impossible, the answer is it really isn't. You know, that's the problem. We think about, oh my gosh, in order to have this massive lifestyle, we got to work these 20, 30, 40 years. And then finally, you can enjoy the last moment. It's kind of like getting married and saving the best part, which you know which one it is, right? The best part of marriage, but you save it until the very end when you're about to die. It just makes no sense. You know, that's just not what I want to do with myself. You know what I mean? So the goal is, well, how do you fix those 4 things up there once you know exactly what you want? And by the way, people are very good at knowing what they don't want, but not what they do want. I ask people all the time, well, what do you want? I don't know. What don't you want? I don't want to work here. I can tell you that, you know, but you got to know exactly what you want and what your life looks like once you're financially free. Now, how do you fix those 4 things? Well, the first thing is basically the running in place phase, because basically you're in so much debt. Well, number 1 is obviously you need a budget, because if you don't have a budget, you don't know what you're doing, right? Because you need a budget to know exactly where your money is going, how much money you make, how much you spend, all that stuff. Now, on top of that, you need to save $1,000 in case anything goes wrong here. Just $1,000, that's it, just to kind of recover here and there. If you spend it, you save it back up just in case anything goes wrong. Then you pay off your debts using the avalanche method. Meaning, for example, very simple here, you pay the debt with the highest APR, meaning the debt that costs the most money, that's the one you pay. The amount you owe doesn't matter. It's just the one that's charging you the most money. So if I have a debt that's costing me like 15%, the other one's 10%, I pay the debt that costs me 15%, obviously, because basically that costs me the most money. And this way, mathematically, you'll save a lot more money in interest. That's the idea. So once you're done with this phase, well, now finally, you're out of debt. Everything except the mortgage. And by the way, I say this like it's easy, but it's not. It's like when you hear, just invest for 10, 20 years. That's a long time. And this right here, paying off your debts, is going to take you, some of you, maybe 6 months, some of you, maybe 7 years. It can take a very long time. So the idea is you got to get rid of the debt. And sometimes just sell everything that you don't need and just call it a day. And that way you get to start right over. I'd rather that than pay for 7 years on a car or on things I don't need. Okay, I'd rather do that 10 times over. Now, the second thing is basically, I don't feel safe. So how do you fix this? The answer is you save 3 to 6 months worth of emergencies. That's it. It's not going to take you more than 6 months to land a job. It won't take you more than a month. And if you can't find a job you want, you work at Uber Eats, do something like freelancing just to make some money while you find the job you actually want. The second thing is basically you want to keep that money for emergencies in a separate account. That way you're not tempted to actually go ahead and use it. Third, also, for example, stop worrying, please, about the APY. In order for this to actually make a difference, you have to have a bunch of money. Most of us are not going to have that much money in an emergency account. You don't need to worry about a high yield savings. That is a $5 question. So for example, if you have $12,000 actually saved up in your emergency account and they pay you 2% a year, well, in reality, you're making $240, you know, so divided by 12, that's around $20 per month. So it doesn't really make a difference. It's not to make you wealthy. So just worry about one thing. Is my money FDIC insured? So if anything happens, I can have my money safely. That's all that matters with your emergency account. That's all the money you need to have saved up. The third thing is, hey, I'm surviving, but I'm not thriving. So how do you fix this? Well, basically, you gotta pay off your home, and you also have to start saving up for a nest egg, right? Meaning you have an investment account with a lot of money in there also. So how do you do this? Well, you start investing 10 to 20% into your retirement accounts. That means your 401k, your Roth 401k, your Roth IRA, your IRA account. Now, me personally, what I do is basically, if I had a normal job, I would max out the match my company gives me in my 401k. Done. Then I would invest the rest of the money, for example, into my Roth IRA. Done. If I have more money left over, I put that money into my 401k. Done. That's about it. The average person is not going to max out a $19,500 401k plus a $6,000 Roth IRA. They're just not. If you can have that money though, the answer is you can put the rest of the money, for example, into a taxable account or an HSA account, and then that gets complicated, but you get the point, right? Usually that's not gonna happen. It's almost like $25,000 being invested every single year. That's a lot of money. Now, on top of that, right, what do you do next? Well, you go ahead, you lower your expenses by buying a home. A home usually is going to cost you around 50 to 30% of your income per month usually, okay? That's how crazy it is. So if you pay this off, you get to save all that money. So how do you do it? Well, you either buy a home, you either sell your current home, or for example, if you already have a home, the right way, you pay it off faster. Now, the rule I follow is called the 33% rule. The 33% rule, meaning, for example, the home I buy cannot exceed 33% of my monthly income, including the mortgage, the taxes for property tax, obviously, the insurance, PMI, and also the maintenance. Everything included cannot exceed 33% of my monthly income on a 15-year mortgage. This is going to limit you a lot, which is awesome. That way you're done paying it off a lot faster, which also means you have extra money left over, which also means that money can be put into the house and pay it off faster. Now, if you tell me, Tommy, no, man, dudes, I'm gonna invest that money instead. The answer is you could, but imagine yourself, for example, you're already investing 10, 20%, and you also have a home, you pay that off faster. Well, if that home is paid off, you also have no mortgage now, and you also have a ton more money to go ahead and invest or just enjoy. That's the whole goal. 20 years is a very long time to be investing. So I just rather, for example, pay the home off a lot faster. If you do things correctly, you'll be done with the mortgage in 7 to 10 years, a lot faster than the average person. And then lastly, you have the exit plan. The answer is, well, think about this for a second. If you don't have any debt, that saves you between $300 to $1,000 per month because you don't have a car payment, you don't have any student loan debt, any credit card payments either. That's a lot of money. On top of that, if you don't have any mortgage, that means that saves you around 30% of your monthly income. That is awesome also. On top of that, if you already have an emergency account, you also have security and safety. And if you've also been investing money for the past 10 years or you pay off the mortgage, the answer is you also have a healthy nest egg that can also pay you a good amount of money. For example, if you go ahead and make $50K per year and you invest 50% of your income, 15% of your income at a 10% return over 10 years, you should have somewhere around $131,000 actually invested in that 10-year period. And that should make you $450 per month in passive income. And with all your savings, you get to live the lifestyle you want. That's why I say, if I can have 50K in passive income, but I don't have any crazy expenses, with 25K to do whatever I want with, I can do whatever I want with it. And I can be done with the whole game in 10 to 15 years instead of, for example, 30 years or 40 years. Again, I don't want to save the best part of my life until the end. So just to put everything again, guys, into perspective here, the whole goal is the reason why you're afraid of spending money is because basically you don't have a goal for your money. So just focus on that. Pay off debt first, save for emergencies, start investing, pay off your house, and then lastly, have an exit plan. That's it. It's really that simple. But it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take some time. But that's the whole idea. If you do things correctly, you'll be done a lot faster, have financial freedom a lot faster, and not have to be worried about, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a lifetime before I can actually be happy. The answer is no. You can be happy today. That's the overall idea. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And guys, comment down below and let me know, were you surprised that you don't need $250,000 just to have a good lifestyle after retirement? Comment down below, let me know, because I was definitely surprised. I thought, oh my gosh, you need $100,000, $500,000. No, you just don't need that much money at all. You just don't. The house is paid off, no debt. You're basically free. If you also have money coming in, you're done. You're awesome, okay? That's the whole idea. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. As always, like this video, helps a lot. On top of that, also subscribe and hit the bell to get notified. If you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me right here on Instagram at TommyBryson. If you want to call me, join me on my third channel called Ask TommyBryson, where I take calls from Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern for free, by the way. I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, more content right here. Click my face right here, and peace.